Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this walk today on Queen Street in Toronto, Canada. It is December 21st, 2021. We're on Queen Street. I had some errands to do here. I did some photo printing. I've been trying to print a photograph, and I went to a place on Bloor Street the other day while I was walking, and I paid my money, and the print was pretty expensive actually, but as the print was coming out of the machine jammed up and it broke. The printer under printer broke. So they had to give my money back, and I went back and they said, yeah, the printer is done. So I found this West camera on Bloor Street, on Queen Street, where I used to print back in the day, and got my print done there. That was good. And I decided to do a walk and some action here. Look at this clothing. Ba ba boom, bam, 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 bam. Let's not get some copyright problems here, people. Most of the clothing is very rugged and sporty and streetwearish kind of thing, but I've been finding kind of interesting newer stuff. Look at this phone and these fans. I used to be in love with these fans for photographs, for props. I remember when I first was doing photography back in the day, I found a fan, I think probably around here somewhere, and one of these old 1920s fans, and I used to use them in all the photographs as a prop. But the problem with buying props is that, you know, you can't personally use them, because as soon as you use it on one photograph, then you know, you can't use it in every shot, right? Like it becomes repetitive. And every photo mission photograph has a fan in it. And, you know, you can't even use it for, back in the day, you couldn't use it for everybody because you had to be original. Back in, when I started photography, you had to be original. If you weren't original, nobody wanted to hire you. I mean, nowadays, you just have to copy everybody else's work, and people want to copy. Back then, people wanted original. So if you had a picture of a fan in your studio, of a model, the second client didn't want the same thing. He said, I want nothing to do with a fan. So basically you could only use a prop once. And you had to constantly pick up new fans and new props, which made it very challenging. But I find that on Instagram nowadays, people want similar photograph. Everybody wants to have a similar photograph. Like if you go to a location that's very cool, rocky, and it's got a interesting landscape, somehow very popular landscape, everybody wants to photograph in the same spot, doing the same kind of a pose. So back in the day, no, that was a no-no. That made it very tough being a photographer, because you always constantly had to come up with a new theme and new subjects and new ways of doing things, yet being in your own style, you know. So the phone was a good prop too. I forgot to mention that. Those old black phones, they were kind of cool to have in your studio. You know, you had a modern studio, you had an old phone in there, and you were actually using it. Now it's kind of cool. Little, I think most of that, if you're a photographer in the 80s and 90s, photographers had this, most studios had funky stuff in them. Interesting, weird props in the studios. It was a thing to do. I don't know if it's not a thing anymore now. Somebody's screaming. It's not a thing anymore. Now the studios have to be clean and white and very little stuff in it. This is a good place to buy kitchen equipment. Kitchen. But back in say even 70s to say,
oh my God,
2000.
So cute.
This lady's going crazy over a cute dog. Yes, from 60s to, I would say, 2000, the style of studios had to be kind of homey and messy and lots of props and carpets, and it was kind of like a homey, artsy feel to it. And I guess it made sense because you could put the models around the place and photograph them in kind of a natural settings, not always a white background fake setting. But then nowadays I noticed, because everybody's renting studios, you don't want the studio to have any character. You want the studio to be blank. More props here. You want the studio to be very blank. Just a white room, so you can go in and set up your own backgrounds, and most people are doing all the backgrounds digitally anyway, so that's a big changes in studios from back in the day. I do prefer, I mean, if you're doing a video of a behind the scenes shots in a photo shoot, say you're doing a model and you want to do it behind the scenes, then having a white studio is better for the video, because it just looks clean and you can see the, you know, everything is white and lights from, you know, you can play with the lights and all you see the model. So when you're making a video, it's not a very complicated scene. It's not distracting. But if you're doing a video in a room, somebody's room, it's got all sorts of paintings and chair and props around, then the video is going to be very tight and very messy. And you know, when you're trying to focus stuff, there's too many distractions in the video. Makes it harder to shoot a video. But if you're doing photograph, then not really. A white studio, I mean, it's very difficult to style that up by putting couches and stuff. Looks fake, doesn't look real. Looks kind of funky, weird. But a messy, old school studio, I don't know what this place is, but there's a lineup to get in. Oh, interesting, huh? Junk store. But an old school messy studio with props and a couch and a, you know, dark carpeting around. And it kind of, if you're shooting a picture, you can, if you can manipulate your light, you can get kind of a more of an interesting portrait without having to resort to a canvas background or a plain, clean paper background. Because back in, I would say, even 80s, clean white backgrounds were not really in style. You wanted a canvas background, painted background, something in the background out of focus. A clear paper background, like a seamless, they call them, wasn't very popular in the 80s. Only kind of students used it, mostly. They put your t-shirts here, custom tees, beautiful. That truck's making ruckus on the street. Old school trucks. Hey, look at this. This block is just begging to go. Oh, look at this. That's interesting. A little alleyway here. Goes somewhere beautiful. 1, 2. Couple of shots of this alleyway, and we're off our going towards downtown. A little bit further, see what happens. I haven't been on the street since like my biking summer videos. I used to bike on the street a lot in the videos, but I don't really have a reason to come here. Today I had a reason, so I try to make my walks around where I am. I just don't want to randomly drive somewhere and walk or film or out of town somewhere. I just want to do local. That used to be a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Nobody's doing chicken anymore. I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in a long time. Affordable textiles. This is a good place to buy fleece. If you buy a section of fleece, then you can use it for as a blanket. And it's cheaper than buying I don't know if it's cheaper than buying a blanket at Costco anymore. Those fleece blankets are about $20 at Costco. And I find them, I really enjoy sleeping with them, because sleeping with them or using them to sleep with. This is an interesting, funky store. These wigs are pretty done nice, actually. Whoever's done these wigs has done a good job styling them on a mannequin. Not easy, cheap wigs. This place, 511 Queen Street. Yeah, it's like you can use fleece blanket. They're warm. They're good to have in the back of your car in case of an emergency. You know, you ran out of gas or something, or your car runs out of battery. Electric car runs out of battery. So it's a good thing. And they sell them at Costco for about 20, I think. And I wonder if they're cheaper. On the way back, I'm going to check. Maybe hit the camera. See if they have a section that's you can buy 2-3 meters. It's cheaper than you can get at Costco. Let's check that out later. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. A lot of places empty for lease. Another alleyway here. This is where we are. Look at those houses across the street. 1 story. I mean, those are really, this is a prime real estate in the city, downtown, Queen Street, popular. So I feel those are ready to go. Ready to go. Urban Outfitters. What do they sell here? Junk. Like I said, 90% of the stuff you buy on the streets you actually don't need. You know, it just makes you feel good. You know, like makes you feel good. Oof, wind is picking up. The wind is picking up. It said about 3 degrees Celsius when I checked on the way out, but that doesn't mean anything actually. You know, if it's sunny and 3 degrees and not windy, it's t-shirt weather. If it's +3 and it's windy and not sunny, yeah, definitely not. You need jackets on. If it gets windy, forget it. You get into survival. So temperatures are not everything. Guy's making crazy ruckus, that engine, the diesel. That's a cool shop. Old school. I like these old school shops. Old school, old school. Where are we? Spadina. All right. Let's walk a little bit further. Check things out in this corner. This is the corner here. Some guy's there with a loudspeaker. Oh, we got the red lights. Let's check out this truck. Oh, but what did that guy do? That guy pulled out. Where is he, Yui? Let's film this intersection a bit. Just. These guys are stuck in the middle of the road now, blocking intersection. That's the worst feeling to have. When you get stuck in the middle of a section in a car and everybody kind of looks at you and dumps on you and cars honk at you, it's the worst feeling. And sometimes, sometimes you're an asshole and you just say, don't care. But sometimes you can't help it. You're kind of like, you think you can go, but you can't. That's a cool idea, isn't it? Isn't it? Wow, this area is, well, it's like, I guess everybody's out Christmas shopping. Shoes, boots, super boots, Red Wings. What's this place? Canada Goose? Nobody's in this store. Look at us in the mirror. We're like a bandit, masked up, hooded up. We're like a bandit,
It's so nice.
masked up so nobody can recognize us on the street. All right. What are these places? Ah, look. Okay, these are cool. Are we getting any of these? Yeah. This guy's like a... Oh, Steve's. This is like a famous music store. It's been around for years and years. I remember I used to come here in, even in the 80s in high school, back in the day, I used to come here. At some point, this was the only thing worth coming down to this area, was this Steve's Music. Let's take a shot of their famous store sign. Yeah. Still look back. Beautiful. Yeah, this used to be the only thing worth coming down here back in the 80s. Everything else, there was hardly any stores here. And I remember we used to walk on Yonge Street, which is up ahead. There's a major street also in Toronto. And we used to, that was the place you go and hang out in high school. And then the only reason you walked all the way here, which is quite a walk, If you're walking all day, it's quite a walk. It was to come here and check out the Steve's Music Store. If you wanted guitar or music books, because there was no internet. So if you wanted to find out how to play a song, you had to come and check out this guy and hopefully get some books out of it. There's an Adidas store. Adidas store and a Subway. Look how small this Subway is. Look at this. Let's go before Jesse Mallet jumps and attacks us and blames it on us. Every time I see a Subway, I think of Jesse Smollett, the person in America in the news who accused of them attacking him at the Subway. Ended up, he faked the attack and ended up getting charged after a while. At first they weren't going to charge him, but then they did. Wow, look at this craziness here. They're certainly digging this place up. Let's keep going, maybe a little bit more. Let's not get hit with that car. It's definitely busy here on the street today. Definitely busy today. Sights and sounds of Toronto. If you're joining me for the first time, I do walking and biking films in the city. Today we're in the angle of the camera. There's another bike place here. I wonder if they have a good fender. I don't know. Oh, that's a cool house right there. I've never noticed that before. On that side, sidewalk gets a lot wider. That's a pretty good looking, I've never noticed that. Wow. I hope they don't take that down. That's, look at that, it's gorgeous. Let's see if we can do it's too far for a thumbnail. You always have to think of what you put on your thumbnail and all that. That's how it is. Trying to keep this walk around the 15 to 20 minute long. I'm not sure how long we've been walking, but we are walking. A little bit further. Let's go further a little bit. It's a great brand here. I like this. I think it's owned by a Chinese company, but still, they're good. Got good gear. I hope they don't get too popular like North Face. I was gonna say Facebook. North Face. North Face used to be good back in the 90s, and then next thing you know, they went super corporate and they had all sorts of junk and everybody was wearing it. Look, everybody's got a North Face. And then they had to take down their quality a little bit so that they could, you know, compete. So these outdoor brands, when they open up first, when they're small, they're very, very personal. But once they get bigger, they need to supply a lot more people and they have to be attractive. The product has to be attractive by like the average ordinary person, and then it's just like everything else, becomes just becomes a brand. No longer, you're not buying it for the quality or the technical ability of the product. And that's what I don't like. That's why I don't like city building, city TV. Yes, we're gonna call it city TV. On this channel, we call everything by its old name, just to be different. And because I don't remember what everything new is. It's a gorgeous building though. I wonder if it's real or is it fake material, plastic on top of a brick building. I don't know.
Like his eyes are like triangles.
What a walk. All right, I'm gonna end the walk at that coming intersection. And we got this thing here in the city, very popular. Apparently that was one of the first news cars back in the day when this thing was called City TV, and then they were famous for having those cool Jeeps, SUVs. Back in the day, nobody had SUVs. Everybody had, you know, regular rear-wheel American cars, and you know, and these guys had these cool SUVs that could go anywhere in the snow, and they used to drive it around and with lights on it, and that was a big, very good advertising campaign for them. Just their trucks. Every other TV station had just this kind of lame cars with nothing on it. These guys had this super cool Nissan Pathfinders, and with a logo on it, huge, and they had police lights on it, and they were the cool guys of the city. And then they got bought out by corporate media, and they became just like everything else. Probably now. Let me see. Look how cool that shot is. All right. Beautiful. Another subway. How many subways? There's subways are everywhere, and they're all empty too. What do they sell like a subway? Look, there's nobody in here. I mean, nobody in there. I mean, come on. It's like one in every block. If they sell 2 subs a day, they're happy. You know. I mean, there's so much cool food here. All sorts of restaurants and Indians. And I think I've been to one of these Indian restaurants at some time. So many restaurants here, nobody's gonna go to Subway. Give me a battery warning. That's good. I got 10 minutes, but it's cold, so I probably got more like 3 minutes till my battery runs out. All right, cool. Beautiful. Anyway. La 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 la. All right, I'm gonna end the film here right at the intersection. Shops are running out, and we're pretty much downtown. The City Hall, Toronto City Hall, is just maybe 50 meters ahead of me, right there. Maybe less. Yeah, 50 meters. Well, thank you for keeping me company on this walk on this beautiful December day in the city. If you enjoy the channel, like, subscribe. I'll be posting some more. Lots of older videos from summertime, biking. If you want to be happy and see sunny skies, we got some of those too. Sunset, everything. Thanks for joining me on this one, and I will see you in the next film. All right. Let's keep going.